MyPAC Committee on Adult Protective Services, or APS, along with Pat Harrington, the prosecutor in Tippecanoe County. I'd like to, first of all, acknowledge our Executive Director, Dave Powell, for his support of this conference. That's one reason this has been such a big success. And Suzanne O'Malley from MyPAC has done a tremendous amount of work in organizing this conference, and obviously it's really successful, and there are so many people here. As I'm sure many of you know, a state agency, the Indiana Family Social Services Administration, FSSA, through the Division of Aging, contracts with Indiana prosecutors to provide adult protective services programs throughout the state. And each APS program is based in a hub county that serves a surrounding area of several counties. And as I'm sure you know, APS does important work. They receive reports of potentially endangered adults threatened with abuse, neglect, and they investigate those reports. And they encounter some difficult, disturbing situations. Older people living in our communities who are in desperate need of help and who may be unable to safely manage their own affairs, or perhaps unable to even ask for help on their own behalf. Or even worse, may be victimized due to exploitation by another person, unfortunately in some situations even another family member. Someone who's taking advantage of them, taking their property, taking their life savings, perhaps, taking their medications. Thanks to concerned people such as other family members, neighbors, social workers, healthcare workers, who see something suspicious and call in a report, APS can identify those situations so that they don't continue to go unnoticed, so that we as a community can get the legal process started and take some action to get help. Responding to elder abuse is about more than just APS. It's a community effort. So it's very important that we have strong working relationships with local partners in each of our communities. The response to elder abuse may include calling 911 in an emergency, working with local law enforcement to investigate a crime against the elderly. It may include working with our local area agency on aging to find quality, affordable services and referrals that can help solve problems. And I'm very pleased to see Carrie Conway from our area agency on aging in Area 10, part of the program today, and several people from our community in Monroe County, our partners who are here attending today. Really appreciate your support and help in dealing with this. Dealing with these issues may also include working with local legal community for assistance in dealing with civil legal issues that can mean access to basic needs. So I'd like to acknowledge the Elder Law section of the Indiana State Bar Association, which is co-sponsoring this Respect Our Elders conference today. I'd like to thank them for their support. We need and appreciate your help. We understand that we're in this together in our local communities. We know that there's a problem of endangered adults living with exploitation, neglect, and abuse. We know that most of this abuse never gets reported, that we just see the tip of the iceberg. But we know that there's a problem. And recognizing the problem is only the first step. We still need to solve the problem, and that's not easy. That requires a commitment of resources in our communities. In 2013, Indiana APS received nearly 40,000 reports of potential abuse, neglect, or exploitation. And from those nearly 40,000 reports, APS opened 10,000 cases in 2013. Those 10,000 cases were handled by 41 full-time equivalent investigator positions during that time. That's 41 investigators to cover 92 counties in the state of Indiana. And many of those investigators have other duties. Many of them are program directors with supervisory and administrative duties that also take up huge chunks of their time. So we know that the system is strained. We know that we need more investigators to ensure that each of those cases receives the attention that it deserves. We know that we need more resources to solve the problems that are out there that are bigger than just APS. We need greater access to guardianships. We need placements in residential care facilities for people with special care needs. So we're here today to start a discussion about how we can work together to better coordinate our resources, create new resources that are needed, and improve services. That's why the IPAC Board of Directors voted to organize and pay for this Respect Our Elders Conference, because it's time to deal with this issue. We have to find a way to move forward. We have to make the needs of endangered adults in Indiana a higher priority. So we've invited stakeholders from various areas, including law enforcement, attorneys, senior advocates, healthcare workers, religious organizations, government agencies, and anyone who's interested in working with us to start this discussion and talking about this issue. We have new leadership at the FSSA, new leadership at the Division of Aging, new leadership in the state APS program, in all these agencies. So we're really excited about what we can do working together and having this discussion with this new leadership in those various government agency organizations. We really appreciate your presence here today. So thanks to everyone for your interest in learning about these issues. We're here to start that discussion, learn from each other, and find ways to solve the problems that we're facing. These problems are not going to go away. They're only going to get bigger as our society ages and seniors become a larger percentage of the population. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this conversation. And I'd like to now introduce Carol Adanamis, who's the Vice President of the Indiana State Bar Association and with the firm of Adanamis and Saunders. Thank you.